God, we're back.
We're back. Hello.
How's it going?
I'm not gonna lie. I would rather be taking a nap right now than podcasting.
Who are you telling?
Here we are. Here we are, friends.
If you didn't know what you're listening to, this is Hot for Justice, Cold Case Stories.
And that is Jaime.
It is, and that is Jessica.
Yes, and we're not putting this episode on the tubes today, the YouTube.
Well, at least not in the video.
Not in the other tubes. Yeah, because we both look like trash bags.
At least we're the cutest trash bags ever.
Like, yikes.
Yeah, I get this text, hey, I'm not turning on my screen recordings, so, and I was like, dude, I was going to ask if you couldn't, so.
Yeah, listen, it's fine.
It's fine.
And if you hear baby sounds, it's because my office got temporarily taken over for another few weeks, and so I'm in the dining room, and it's an open concept, so you can hear Emerson playing, and you know what? It just is what it is.
It is. And you know what else is what it is? We're just going to address the big fat elephant in the room that we haven't uploaded in 2 weeks.
Listen, I wasn't going to even say anything. We were on vacation, and don't add us. It was impromptu, but we needed it.
Yeah, we did. We needed some mental health time, which, it is what it is.
Happens, you know what? When you have two hosts that are A, busy bitches, and B, have mental health problems, that's what you're gonna get sometimes.
Yeah, I will say my therapist has been the fucking A1 since day one and keeping me sane.
Shout out.
Hey Andrea, you the tits. Anyways.
Does she listen?
Absolutely not. If she does, I'll die.
That would be great, though.
Anyway.
I didn't even tell my therapist to have a podcast. I don't even want her to listen.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what is it? You're gonna think I have more issues than you already do.
Yeah, no, it's just not. I think you're going first today.
Yeah, we just kind of decided I'm going first. We don't know if it's actually, in, canon or how that goes.
Well,
but we're here now.
Nobody's gonna go back and look and be like, oh my god.
And if you do,
Jessica's actually supposed to.
Yeah.
Then kudos to you.
Please send us a DM, and I will send you a sticker.
Right.
So
for being a number one fan.
Yeah, if you can prove us wrong and me going first this week, then I will mail you a sticker.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So
I'm actually gonna send you a DM right after.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up! You are not allowed to play.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Audrey's not allowed to play either. Audrey. If you're listening,
I'm gonna just go out and just table Zach and Jackson too. They're not allowed to.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, anyways, what are you talking about today?
So this one's kind of wild. So this is a Reddit find. This is
as they are.
I know.
Bless
this one was really interesting. So it's a double disappearance.
Oh.
So,
okay.
This was posted by a username Blaze in the Dark, and this is.
I'm assuming they mean the devil's lettuce.
I hope so. If not, then I fucked up. I picked the wrong user to tell the story for. So the title is Mother and Daughter Vanished 17 Years Apart in Nashville, Tennessee. Neither is heard from again.
Don't like that. Okay, let's
No,
begin.
it's bonkers. So on the evening of November 19th, 1999, Larisha Denia, or it might be Denia, I'm not sure, Walker dropped her 2-year-old son, Rayvon, off at her sister's house in Nashville, Tennessee. She told her sister that she had planned on driving to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is about 40 miles south, early in the morning to get an estimate on a repair for her car. Later that night, Larisha spoke with her father on the phone between 9:30 and 10. The next day, when the family hadn't heard from her and she hadn't picked up her son, her sister, Lakeisha Chambers, drove down to her townhouse at 3858 Edwards Avenue in East Nashville and found the place empty. The lights were on and music was on, but Lakeisha described the scene as normal and that nothing seemed out of place aside from the music. She even...
That's creepy.
Right? She even noted that the screen door was locked. Still, there was no sign of Larisha or her car. So,
okay,
already a little weird. A couple days later, on November 21st, when nobody had heard from her, her mother, Wanda Faye Walker, reported her missing. The police and family learned from one of Larisha's neighbors that they had heard her arguing with somebody outside her townhouse on the night her family last saw her. She had lived there for less than a month, and her disappearance initially received media attention in the Nashville area, but unfortunately coverage quickly faded. According to her family, Larisha did not have any problems with anyone in her personal life, nor at work, nor was she dating anybody at the time. Her sisters also described her as a private person, so they didn't know anyone that she hung out with, or everyone that she hung out with, but she would have never put herself in a dangerous situation, like, willingly. Police believe that she was most likely the victim of an abduction. Quote, all indications are that she was a good mother and would not have left her son, says Detective Sergeant Pat, oh good lord, Postiglione.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, close enough.
Then
I shouldn't say his name doesn't matter, but is I'm just not even going to entertain trying to pronounce that any other kind of way.
that's okay. Well, you know what? We'll spell it for y'all in the episode description.
Facts.
There you go.
So they went in there and took her because the way that her home looked at 1 second before she was kidnapped is the way it looked, the way the police found it. So, like, they didn't. She was abducted, like, literally, like, nothing else. Like, there was no robbery. There was no, like, indications that anything happened at the house. So she drove. Isn't that crazy?
That's so creepy. That creeps me out more than, like, if there was things out of place, because then, you know, obviously something happened, but like when nothing's amiss, then it's like, was she lured outside and then just snatched, or like what?
Right.
It's creepy.
No, there's literally no idea. It's really nuts. She drove her maroon 1995 Oldsmobile Achieva,
Okay.
With a Tennessee license plate number of 419ABG that has never been located. The car has
What?
Yeah, they've never retrieved her car. It has a distinctive long scratch on the driver's side. The clothes she was last seen wearing were found inside of her home. 21 years later, there's still no sign of her or her car.
Okay.
So she was 23 years old, 5'7", and weighed between 190 and 200 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She had black hair and brown eyes. She had a heart condition and took medication for it, which was found again at her home. So it gets weirder.
Okay.
Like, this is already fucked up.
Yeah.
But it proceeds to get more fucked up.
Wait, so the clothes she was last seen wearing, they found in her home?
Yeah, so
she obviously was home and changed.
Mm-hmm. Into what? We don't know.
And then her car's gone too.
Yeah, so either she was abducted and they took her car, or she left somewhere, because again, like, the doors were locked and stuff. It was just music was playing inside the house.
But there were music.
Like, loud music.
She lived alone?
Oh, with her and her son.
Oh,
the son was
right.
dropped
Her
off.
son wasn't. Okay. That's weird. Emerson's trying to come in here with big milk jugs that are empty because she likes to carry them around.
Oh my god, that's too cute.
She's been a little milk baby.
Oh my god, my heart.
not the milkman, but the milk baby.
I love it. Honestly, love that journey for her.
I do too. I support her fully if that's what she wants to do.
She wants to be a milk person for
Yeah.
when she
Truly,
grows up.
listen. I support her no matter what, unless she's murdering people. I don't support that. That's
There
that.
you go. That's that on that. So tragedy struck the Walker family again 17 years later, in October of 2016, when Larisha Walker's mother disappears.
Okay.
So Wanda Faye Walker was scheduled for work on October 5th at the Dollar Tree on Franklin Pike in Nashville, but never showed up for her shift. The last place she had been seen was the home she shared with her cousin on 11th Avenue South in Nashville. The Dollar Tree she worked on was less than 2 miles from her home. On October 13th, so about a little over a week later, her Nissan Maxima was found by police in front of a house on the 1100 block of Wade Avenue in Nashville, down the street from her home. People in the area stated that it had been there for about a week when it was found. So this had to have been like a day or two after she had gone missing. And the car was locked. Her purse was found inside, along with blood in the back seat. investigators later determined that the blood was hers.
Yeah, like a lot of blood?
Like, not a lot, but, like, it also, like, wasn't, like, you know...
Like a deathly amount?
Right. You know...
Okay.
A questionable amount. Let's say that much.
Okay.
Enough that was more than, like, maybe an accident.
That's fair.
According to family members, Harold Henderson, Wanda's boyfriend, was the last person to see her alive. Conflicting reports state that he had assisted her on the day of her disappearance when her car overheated on the side of the road. He allegedly added oil to it, and then the car ran fine afterwards, so he and Wanda parted ways. Other reports have her last being seen at home. Investigators haven't found any indication that the two women's disappearances are linked in any way. But
what the
what are the chances that a mother would disappear from the same city 17 years, almost to the day, after her daughter?
I have some concerns.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, we're talking 16 years, 11 months different.
That's really strange.
Isn't that one of the wildest things you've ever heard?
Where's... And they have no idea?
There's a bunch of articles linked in here. Like, there's Doe Network pages, like NamUs pages, some, you know, local, like, national area news articles, etc. But, yeah. Like, there's been no leads. There's been no nothing. Like, they've both been sitting cold.
That's really weird. I mean, obviously. Like, you said it was weird when you started, but, like...
Right.
It's weird.
But, yeah. Like,
but weird.
This one just really rubs you the wrong way. Yeah.
Mine will, too. Wait, mine's weird, too. It's weird.
It's okay. We like weird here.
Let me get back to... I have a couple pages open. Are you finished with yours?
But yeah, so
okay. Just wanted
we'll
to make sure.
link everything. If you have heard anything or know someone that knows something, obviously, you know, reach out to the pertinent authorities. But
did they ask the people whose car they found, like, whose house her car was in front of? Did they say, hey, do you know, like, whose car
they were literally just like, oh yeah, it turned up like a week ago. Like, we don't really know whose car this is.
I wonder if anybody had security camera, like, because when was this?
2016. So, like, that's kind of when those things, like, just started really popping up, like the rings and the
being, like, more affordable for people.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of hard to say. And it kind of reminded me of, I forget which documentary that we covered, but there was one where, like, someone had moved a car and, like, it sat there for, like, a good few weeks and, like, you know, like grass stopped growing underneath it because, like, it wasn't getting sun, and, like, nobody, like, noticed the car for, like, a good couple of weeks, and they're like, oh shit, like, where'd you come from?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what documentary that was, but I don't remember. Right? I can't remember. I do remember. I think it was the pharmacy one.
I think you might be right.
But well, mine's weird too, and it's, like, short because it's so weird, and there's not much. Anyways, okay, just start. Okay, so we're going back to 1989.
Okay.
Where Ronnie and Doreen Jack grew up near Burns Lake, which is in Canada, northern British Columbia. In 1989, they were living in Prince George, which I'm assuming is probably close by. Don't know, though. Might need to check a map. They had two young sons.
Prince George and where?
Burns Lake.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. Jamie, check.
Okay, let's see. Internet tells me it's a 46... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. If I could type in the right, like, thing.
46 hours?
It said 46 hours, but it's saying from Prince George County, Maryland, not...
Oh, no. Prince George... British Columbia, I think.
Oh, here we go. It's a 2-hour and 36-minute drive.
Okay. That's better than 46 hours.
That's more reasonable.
So, 1989. Okay. My thoughts are all over the place. Okay. So, 1989, they were living in Prince George with their two young sons, one who was 9 and one who was 4. One night, Ronnie went to the bar, or the pub, however you want to word it, near their home.
He was getting his drink on.
He was chatting with this guy, and he goes, like, dude, I can get you a job at this like ranch or like encampment type thing that's just out of the city. And so August 2nd, Ronnie calls his family and he's like, hey, me and Doreen are both going out of town. You know, we're going to go work at this camp.
You know, I'm gonna pause right here. I feel like anytime you meet a stranger at a bar and they're like, hey, I have this job that I think you'd be great at.
Just no.
They are going to try to kidnap or kill you.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm a photographer. Will you be my model? Let's go here. Drive with me. That's just a no. It's always a no.
Yeah.
Just no.
Never trust
No.
strange men in bars.
No. And don't be polite to them. You don't have to be polite to them. You can if you want to, if the situation allows you to, but you don't have to be.
No, I'm just saying that you shouldn't, like, go out of your way to trust strange men in bars, just because their intentions are usually not there. Sometimes they're just trying to have a good time, you know, get some vibes going. Totally fine.
That's make friends.
But some of them are totally rapists, murderers, and kidnappers.
The thing is, girls, we have this intuition, and my mom always told me from a young age, listen to it because it really is right. Okay, and she's not wrong. There's been plenty of times where I've been really uncomfortable in situations, come to find out, you know, like the person I was around had, like, you know, a history of whatever, being in, you know, sexual assault or, you know,
et cetera. Honestly, the list,
et cetera.
The list does not end.
Et cetera. It does not end, but, okay.
Yes, PSA over.
So he calls his family and he's trying to see if they'll take the boys because him and Doreen are both going. They're only planning to be gone for 10 days. None of the family, though, would take the boys or could take them. And they're just gone. Like, I'm assuming they left because their house, like, when their house was searched, like, they were just gone.
And, like, nothing turned up. Like, nothing, like, abnormal. Kind of like the last one, like, where there was nothing, like, weird in the house, nothing sus, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and so obviously I'm saying this situation where he meets this guy in a bar and the guy's offering him a job, that's weird. That's very sus. But, like, if they went somewhere willingly,
that shows
right,
that, like, anything happened.
No. Right. So, so it's been 30 years as of 2019. And they decided the police had some sort of information. And they started digging. So they were pursuing a lead August 28th through 30th of 2019. They did ground penetrating radar, heavy equipment, but they couldn't find, like, what they were actually looking for. They thought maybe they would find like the actual burial sites, because they're investigating this as a homicide. I mean
at this point they should be.
Yes. So, and apparently they've searched several sites as possible burial sites, but they have not found the family. The latest search happened on actually I may butcher this and I apologize, Sykes Nation territory that is south of Vanderhoof, British Columbia.
Excuse me?
Yeah, so on on a reservation. So these two people, Ronnie and Doreen, they were Indigenous. I'm not sure if that was there's not enough information as to, like, which tribe they belonged to, but apparently that was, like, one in the area. The leadership of that tribe stayed, as the police were searching and, like, digging or whatever, but they didn't find anything.
Damn.
So, Doreen's sister, Marlene, which I have an Aunt Marlene. I love that name.
Aww.
They're still trying to drum up support to, like, find her family, but I can't even imagine.
No.
Like, okay, but let's just walk through this for a second.
Yeah.
This guy comes and he's like, listen, I got a job for you. And you're like, yeah, okay, I need work, whatever. Why would he murder them? Unless he was a serial killer.
Right.
But then, like, also, why would you go out of your way to kidnap a whole ass family?
So, I may have missed this, and excuse my not paying attention if that's the case.
Yeah.
Was his wife there at the bar when they were having this initial conversation, or was it just the two guys?
I believe it was just him.
Okay.
And the guy.
Because I was thinking, like, well, maybe it was, like, a weird, like, way, like, roundabout way to, like, do some sort of sexual assault on the wife, or him, or both. You know what I mean? Kidnap them to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't really know. And that's also me very much reaching.
Yeah, I'm like, I just feel like that's a weird way to do that.
Oh, 100%. There's definitely, I mean, far more.
It's just so strange. But Doreen, what her actual date of birth is not known, but they think 1963 was the year. She was 5'2", 110 pounds at the time she disappeared. She has brown eyes and black hair. They both look very indigenous. And we'll put pictures. And Ronnie, also born 1963, but they're not sure the exact date. He was 5'6" and 150 pounds at the time of his disappearance, and he also has brown eyes and black hair. So,
Wowzers.
It's so strange. Yeah, and I mean, they're poor kids.
That is really fucking sad. And how old were the kids at the time of the disappearance?
One was 9, one was 4.
Jesus.
And so one article I have says that they were both 26 years old, and so they were like 25, 26 when they went missing.
Wowzers.
Yeah, so it's just strange.
That is very strange.
So, and they were reported missing on August 25th of 1989.
Damn. So,
but yeah, if you have any information about that, I don't know how many Canadian listeners we have. Like, we can see that we have some, but we don't know, like, where. Talk to your families. I'm sure it's probably a big news story there, though, because it's very strange.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like it's just weird for, especially, like, you know, in the late 80s for just, like, a husband and wife to up and vanish.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I don't know. But, well, I'll post all my information and, yeah.
All that jazz.
Who knows? So we've reached the digging off portion.
We have. Do you have anything to dick off about?
So we got a squat rack and we're starting to build our home gym, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh, geez.
I actually had some, but that's why I've been so busy, so I've been trying to clean out the garage and go through stuff and organize, and so that's been, like, really time consuming and tiring.
No, absolutely. I feel that.
Oh my God. And then today I had a customer who I had a bunch of orders over my birthday, and I sent them all out, like, at the beginning of this month. One of those people messaged me and was like, I actually never got my earrings. And so I checked the tracking, and the tracking is basically like, we don't have any information. And I'm like, are you joking? Oh, no. So now I'm gonna remake that for her and, like, send her a new pair. But I'm irritated, so I went back through all my orders to make sure. And on Etsy, so many of them say that they've not been delivered, and so I'm like, but then I'm messaging people to make sure that they didn't and actually get them, because they're you can buy shipping labels through Etsy, which is what I do, so that the tracking just, like, automatically feeds into it. But it is so strange, and I'm having a day about it.
No, that's supremely frustrating. And, well, I know, like, the USPS has been having, because that's what I believe Etsy ships through, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
You know, really since the holiday, or before the holidays, really, they've been having a lot of issues, budget cuts and whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not, like, I totally get that, but it's also hard because now, yeah, I mean, it takes me some time to make these. I don't know if I'll have to see if I can submit a claim or something, but, like, I mean, it's not like those earrings take me 10 minutes to make, you know?
Right.
And it's not the customer's fault at all, so I'm 100% am, like, happy to work with her and send her new earrings. I even tell people, like, if you lose an earring, if one falls out or one falls off or it breaks, literally message me and I will make you a new one 100%. But yeah, I'm, like, really frustrated because I entrusted the USPS with my stuff.
Right. And so
and they lost.
So much stuff has just been, like, so crazy. I had done, like, both sold and bought a bunch of stuff on Poshmark a few weeks ago.
Yes,
and, like, the stuff was just, like, in limbo, like, at one point.
Really? That's so frustrating. I know I like totally live through you when you do that, when you buy those. I'm like, yes, show me what you got,
I sold a bunch of
girl.
stuff too, and not only were a couple things
That's
that I
awesome.
was waiting on coming in limbo, like a couple packages took like almost 3 weeks to get to me when normally they take like 3 to 5 days. But same thing,
Dang.
like I shipped a couple things and they took like forever, like weren't updating, and the people were like, yo, where's my shit? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
Right. Like, what can you do? Well, I was just thinking that because truly people get upset and they're like, which I get that too. They want their stuff. They
Right.
paid for it. I get it. But once once the USPS has it, what can I do? I can only go off the tracking.
100%.
And I actually saw that that was happening. That was an issue that was happening to people like Etsy shops over Christmas. And the postal service was losing their packages and then like basically leaving them out to dry. People were reviewing these stores and giving them like 1 stars, being like, I never got my stuff or whatever, which yes, in some cases absolutely valid, but like in these cases you send it and like you literally can't do anything.
right. It's like nobody has control over something when it goes through the mail. And then also like there's so many times like things don't get scanned or things don't get whatever. Like so they're making it on its way. It never got scanned or whatever, and so you're just kind of out of the loop.
That too. Yeah, so that's like what I've been. Sorry for the tangent, you guys. I was so stressed out.
No, that totally happens, and you know, backside of business, really.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I was like, I can't. You know, probably why it upset me so much was because I was just the last few days on TikTok, and this girl is getting dragged for her planner business. So apparently, it's like some trauma on TikTok, and a bunch of people are posting videos, and like she basically oversold her stuff and like said, oh, we'll ship within 9 days or whatever, 9 business days, and it's March and people still haven't gotten their stuff. And then she was sending supposedly like fake track, I'm not going to say the name of the business because who knows, but like fake tracking stuff, and
That's wild.
yeah, but then I was like, oh my god, people are going to do that to me and it's not my fault.
Fuck.
But I don't have a big business yet, so
I was
it's
like, yeah,
fine.
there we go. Yet. We're manifesting big
Yet.
things.
Big things. Yeah. Heck
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what's new with you?
So I'll talk about a few books I've been reading because I haven't been watching a lot of like TV or anything. But so
Yes, we were just talking about this, you guys, because we we've have so many documentaries on our list, and we're like,
yeah, I'm just like, I don't really want to like watch something heavy right now. Like I was just like in like such a like weird headspace where I was just like, I need like dumb shit to watch. Do you want to know what I watched yesterday?
yeah, 90 Day Fiance.
No, it's worse.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
It's
what?
worse.
Teen Mom. It's worse than Teen Mom.
Yes, we were not sober and watched Sausage Party yesterday. I told you it was worse.
That is much worse. I couldn't even watch the commercial for that. But if you were intoxicated, that makes
But you know what's
sense.
funny as fuck? I'm gonna tell a really quick aside. The first time I
Okay.
ever saw that film was in theaters, and it was with my
Oh
husband.
no, you paid to see
and
that?
our
Yikes.
roommate at the time. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And when I say I had no idea what I was getting myself into, I mean not one bit.
I think you've told
I think
me
I've
the
told you
story.
this like IRL.
Yeah, not on
I
the
think.
okay.
And
yeah,
if I told it on the
continue.
podcast,
You
I
continue.
apologize.
I don't think you have, but you've told me this story, like
So
to me.
I went into this film thinking it was just an animated movie about food. I figured it was along the lines of like some SpongeBob silliness, or like maybe like mildly risque, like Family Guy, where like there was adult humor, but like mostly intended for a younger audience. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was like lightly
Yeah.
risque. But
No.
when I tell you that within the first 5 minutes I proved myself wrong, if you've never seen this film, you don't need to.
No, it's
Unless
no.
you are inebriated in some fashion. I wouldn't recommend it sober. This I mean, it's a film co-written by, what's his name? Fucking Seth Rogen, Michael Cera, and James Franco, or Jonah Hill.
Mm-hmm. So
that's exactly what
really
it's expecting.
Tells you all you need to know. Yeah.
Yes. It's very inappropriate. It's very hysterical. Don't get me wrong. Lots of giggles were had. But that's like the kind of stupidity I needed to watch, because like I just needed to turn my brain off.
Not serial killers. So.
No, my brain just needed to not work, and that was exactly what I needed for that. But anyways, the things I've been reading. So I'm gonna start with some lighter stuff, some fiction. I read Just Let Me Borrow a book, The Cuckoo's Calling. That was very good. And I'm currently on its sequel, The Silkworm. They're detective novels.
They're by Robert Galbraith.
Yes.
But that's actually J.K. Rowling.
It's a pseudonym that she had. The first book, I think, was written in like 2013, 2014 time-ish.
She didn't... Yeah, she thought that as a man she would have received better... if she, like, with a man's name, she would receive better... or people would think it was better because
like,
I don't
basically
know,
like
because
they
people
wouldn't
are
like
still
assume
sexist
because she's women, or she's a woman.
Yeah, well, I mean, and like you think of all the top mystery writers, they're all men.
Right, so people don't want to have a preconceived notion,
So.
and I think she was also trying to initially kind of steer clear of her own name just because of Harry Potter and like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that
like,
too.
I mean,
she's very
in a corner or in a niche or whatever. I get
But
it.
then, like, basically, what she did was, as soon as it published, she was like, "It's me!"
Surprise!
Or people figured it out. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
And I mean, like, she even, like, so, like, the books, they basically, it's a private detective. In one of the books, they do talk about an author and, like, pseudonyms and stuff, and they're kind of like, oh, yeah, it's kind of bullshit. Like, it's very easy to figure out who they are.
Yeah. Those books, that series, I've talked about it on this podcast before, and I really enjoy them, and that's why I recommended it to you, Jamie, and I think I lent you the first book, and then I have the other ones for you, so
Yeah.
If you, like, just want to get lost in a book, definitely recommend
They're very
those.
good, very well written. And the other book I'm reading right now is actually, it's very interesting so far. I'm, like, about an hour into it. It's Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I don't know if you've heard of it. So it's a memoir written by the victim of Brock Turner.
Oh, I did know she was going to write
Yeah.
a book, but I didn't know that was it. Good for
And
her.
she actually reads her own audiobook.
Oh, cool.
It's very hard to listen to. I will be very, like,
Yeah.
honest. Like, and I mean, like, if you're triggered by sexual assault, like, don't listen to it. It's
Also, sorry, you can totally hear my dog drinking
I was like, what the
water
fuck is
loudly
happening?
in the background.
It's very well done, though. I will say, for an audiobook, the cadence is very slow. Like, she does read very slow. So I did have to turn it up to, like, 1.3, 1.4 speed to have it be, listenable to me. Which isn't, like, anything, negative to say about her or anything. I just...
No, I'm sure it's hard for her.
Yeah, and I'm also, I think it's better to have a slower cadence and be able to speed it up than to have someone who talks too
than
fast and
being
try
too
to
fast.
do the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody has, like, a preference,
Yeah, well, I mean, like
reading or podcast preference, too. Like, there's some people I just can't stand their voice. That was a hard thing for me about audiobooks, is I'd buy one, and then I'd be like, I can't stand your voice, and I'd return it, and then I'd do it all over, and then I could never, like, I found one or two books I could stand to listen to.
No, that's absolutely fair. Yeah, and I'm actually someone that, like, I tend to listen to books and podcasts at, like, 1 1/4 speed anyways. Mm-hmm. So, like, definitely hers, I've, like, gone up to, like, 1.5 speed, and it was, like, fine.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good to know. I didn't know she had published a book yet.
Yeah, I want to say it came out, like, a year or two ago. It's very good so far, so definitely recommend that. Also, kind of piggybacking off of that, I found that book in a list of books I had seen on Instagram on a resources for AAPI people and intersectionalities as far as that's concerned with all these attacks on Asian Americans lately. And I haven't gotten too far in this book, but she does talk about her intersectionality as a white and Asian woman, and how that's also affected her along this like essay journey that she's had. So,
I like to I think it's really interesting to listen to people talk about that, and how before I started to really realize the gravity of these, of these conversations around race, I never really thought about that and how that would affect somebody. Yeah, I really appreciate listening to people's experiences.
Definitely. And I mean, like, even something as like pop culture and like surface level sounding as like The Bachelor, like, this season that got really real. We did have a whole episode on the After the Final Rose and the finale over on Zach's podcast, Weekend Plans.
Oh, yeah.
We do a pretty, decent aside about the race conversation and all of that in there. I don't want to get too much into it here.
Yeah, go over there and listen to it.
But we're actually planning kind of like a fireside chat type of episode in the next couple of weeks, talking about more of the aftermath of that, as well as, like Asian Americans in that same, like, kind of like, Bachelor and like pop culture and like in that realm. So stay tuned for that, and definitely check it out.
Yeah. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. So Wednesday we should have our next episode of the Night Stalker
recap.
Wrap that shit up. And then next week we'll be back with the regular episode, and then we'll figure out which recaps we're doing next after Night Stalker.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I think Cecil.
I think that's what we were talking about too. So we'll plan for that to be next.
Thanks for listening, y'all.
And we'll catch you Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.